Hello, everyone. Welcome to another live edition to Talking Comics with Julius Freeman, and I'm your host, yours truly, Julius Freeman. Tonight's stream is going to be something out of like just a freestyle, I guess, of sorts, shooting it from the hip, as the term is said, and also I'm going to talk about a little bit about 2020, a little bit about 2021, and what to expect in this coming year, and what backers who backed the Ghetto Dragon campaign should be expecting their books. So I'm going to give a little update as to what to expect, I guess, is to repeat myself, for 2021 when it comes to fulfilling the Ghetto Dragon Indiegogo campaign. Whoa, my mind went a little blank there. Speaking of which, I would like to show you guys where I am currently at. Right now, we are at 1587 with 80 backers with 27 hours left. So that's right. Tomorrow, I will be doing a live stream to, I guess, end it with a bang. End it and show my gratitude to the 80 backers who believed in this story, who took a shot in the dark for a writer, a comic book writer for that matter, who just want to make a comic book about martial arts and provide something to the lore of the comic book medium, and that is to Get a Dragon No Good Deed, Book 1, which is still live on Indiegogo. If you have not backed it, back it today, and you won't regret it. It's full of action. It's full of martial arts. It's some drama and some romance in there for the ladies as well. So there's a little bit of that. You gotta get as many readers as possible, right? So there's that, guys. But right now I'm at 80 backers. I am seriously totally humbled at the fact that 80 people, 80 strangers, decided to, you know what? I'm gonna give this project a go, and I'm gonna give this guy a shot to prove himself, to see if he can entertain me the way others entertain me with other comic books and other films and TVs and whatnot. So thank you deeply from the bottom of my heart to all the people who have supported me throughout this whole process. 2020 was one hell of a year, not in more ways than one. I know it's depending on who you ask. Some people had a terrible 2020 and others had a pretty good 2020, all things considered. My 2020 was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. It was okay. It wasn't the worst thing. Thankfully, I've kept my job. Thankfully, the shutdowns did not affect me as much, and the shutdowns actually kind of helped a lot with finishing my projects, which is what I wanted to do to begin with in 2020. But of course, the shutdowns kind of sped up the process, and now we are at 2021. It's going to be a drastic year, guys. I have my own predictions as to what may happen, may or may not happen. We still have the election up in the air. January 6th, Wednesday, is the day when the Electoral College meets to count the votes for the president, and it looks like it appears to look like Donald Trump may win this election. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering, what the hell are you talking about, Julius? What are you talking about? Well, if you want to know something intimate about Julius, myself, I shouldn't talk myself in the third person. I'm not The Rock. What you must know about me is that I'm a truth seeker. I seek truth. Flipping it around. And as uncomfortable as that may be, that means I have to dig through information and misinformation alike, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. And I have to get to and I like getting to the bottom of things. I don't like to just take anyone's word for it. I don't just watch, the mainstream media and believe everything they say, because at this point in our history, they've become very unreliable. Both the right and the left, Fox News and the left side of things like CNN, MSNBC, and so on and so forth, in the New York Times, and New York Post, and Washington Post, and et cetera, et cetera. They've let me down constantly throughout not just 2020, but the years before. And so I don't really take them at face value anymore. Now, when a story comes out, I wait until all the information is out. And so that's what I've been doing for the past close to almost a month and a half now, with ever since the election took place on the November 4th or November 6th. I can't remember the day. Election day. I should know this. I'm an American. Almost 2 months actually. So I've been following closely as to what's been going on with the disputed states and the investigation leading into the claim by the Trump administration that there's been election fraud with the Dominion voting systems and so on and so forth. So it looks like he might win, because it appears that the Senate, as well as the Mike Pence, may not count the votes, the electoral votes anyway, that are part of the disputed states. And if Donald Trump does get the majority electoral votes and they exclude those states that are being disputed at the moment, it appears Donald Trump may win the election. It is what it is. I don't feel one way or another about it. I honestly don't care, to be very real with you guys, because the presidency is not for you and me. The presidency is for the elite, the executive branch. The branch that's for you and me, the common folk, is the legislative branch, House of Congress. Those are the elections that matter to me. I can't speak for everyone else. I'm only speaking for myself. So that's where I stand on that. Do I like it? Like I said, I don't care. I don't care either way. What I want to do is make comics, and here it is. The Ghetto Dragon, Book 1, No Good Deed, available now on Indiegogo. 27 hours left, guys. 27 hours left. I hope to deliver this product by March of this year. That's not that far away. That's 60 days away. So I'm hoping by March I get to fulfill these campaigns, the perks, the campaigns of the campaign. I can't even speak tonight. And I hope that the backers enjoy the story, and I know they will, because it is an entertaining story that I've written. Not to sound cocky, but I worked really hard to make sure that this story is solid and that you follow it. It just flows like wine. So that way, when it comes to book 2, you guys are excited for it. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that this book gets you excited for book 2, because book 2 is going to be fucking off the charts. That's all I have to say about that. So get yours today. For these prices, guys, $11. $11 for a 50-plus page book. There's other campaigns out there who are charging you $25 for the same page count. You can't go around with these prices. These are flea market prices in a lot of ways. But here it is. The Ghetto Dragon, No Good Deed, Book 1. Back it today. You won't regret it. It's going to be a great story. The story itself will be fantastic as you read along. And I know it isn't a high concept idea like a lot of the other campaigns that are out there today, there's nothing wrong with that, because high concept comics are great. They're my forte as well. But this was a story that I had to tell. So if you love Cobra Kai, if you're a fan of Cobra Kai, Ghetto Dragon's for you. If you're a fan of Bruce Lee movies like Enter the Dragon or The Big Boss, this comic is for you. If you're a fan of Jackie Chan's Police Story, or any of Jackie Chan's movies, Rush Hour, Rumble in the Bronx. This comic book is for you. If you're a fan of The Last Dragon, this comic book is for you. I don't know how else to describe it. If you just love Hong Kong movies or martial arts films, this comic book is for you. I guarantee you, you're going to enjoy this comic book. So I hope that, I will convince you, especially for those who watch after the fact. 27 hours left. So, by this time tomorrow, there'll be about, I think, 3 hours left in the campaign. So tomorrow I'll be doing another live stream to end the campaign. Not officially live. Well, I might do it officially live. Who knows? I might stay up until the campaign is completely done and over with. So I'm going to make sure to promote it on my Twitter account, on my Twitter feed. Come tomorrow, and hopefully you guys will join me tomorrow, and you guys can ask me questions. You guys can talk to me. We can discuss what the Ghetto Dragon is, or we can even discuss the process of making comics. It doesn't really matter to me. This show is all about talking, all about getting to know one another. So I hope you guys back it. I'm already made my goals, and I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for the 1,500 because I seriously did not believe for a second that I was going to make this much. I was expecting 700 at the most, to be very real with you guys. I honestly thought and believed that, you know what, no one knows who Julius Freeman is. I'm not active in the quote unquote comic book wars that's going on right now in online, with the Comicsgate, the war campaign, the SGWs. I'm not part of that. So there is no baggage or there's no ammunition behind my name. No one knows who I am. I'm just a nobody. And so I thought, okay, well, maybe if I'm lucky and I get on some of these streams, I'll end up with 600, maybe 700 at the most is what I'll end up with. And I end up with 1,500, and I have to say I'm grateful. Really, I'm humbled that I was able to raise this much for my first campaign. With the name Julius Freeman, not no one really knowing who Julius Freeman is, and you're looking at him right now. So yeah, there you have it, guys. The Ghetto Dragon, No Good Deed, Book 1. Get it today before it's done with. So I wanted to talk a little bit about 2021 and what lies ahead. The first things first is to fulfill the campaign. That's going to be number 1 on my list. Is once this campaign is done, I'm going to focus purely on fulfilling the campaign, so that way the people who backed it will see firsthand that Julius Freeman is a man of his word, and that I fulfill my campaign promises. I fulfill the book, and I hope that the book is entertaining enough for you to come back for more. That's the goal. So that's going to be the first things on my list in early 2021. Now, beyond that, well, of course, there's book 2. Book 2 is still in the works at the moment, and hopefully with 2021 coming around, the vaccinations are being introduced, which I don't know why it's so crazy for me, guys. Like, honestly, like this whole pandemic, this COVID-19 situation has been such a roller coaster ride. I can't really believe it. I can't really believe that it's been this long. It's almost a year now since the shutdowns. It started in late March, early April. And, I personally know 5 people who had the COVID. They're still alive and kicking, thank God. And they don't have any lingering health effects from it. And I know everyone's different. I understand that. I understand that everyone has their own immune system levels. Some are high, some are low, some are in the middle. But the 5 people that I know personally who got him, 2 of them have compromised immune systems, and they're still alive and kicking. So it's a lot of things are not making sense to me anymore. From what I see in the news, from what I read in the newspaper, from what I read in the news online, and from what I see from firsthand observation and experience, none of it's adding up to me. And one of the main things that a lot of people don't really talk about either, that I've noticed, that I brought up, and of course all my friends are kind of they didn't think about it either, is the homeless situation. Where I live at, there is a high amount of homeless people. We have a poverty problem where I live at, to the point where there's tent cities literally on the sidewalk or in certain parts of the city where it's just like they're just there. They just set up shop, and where else are you going to put them? The shelters are closed, right? They're not. The shelters aren't open to these people because of COVID-19. They live under the most unsanitary situations, and that's not their fault. Okay, and I'm not saying that it's their fault. It's not their fault. That's just the way it is when you are homeless or you live in poverty. The most unsanitary conditions known to man, and yet there are no high numbers of people in that state dying because of COVID at all, which again doesn't make sense to me. But what do I know, right? I'm just a comic book writer. I'm not a scientist. I don't know how this stuff works. I kind of go by with the information given to me, but of course I have to discern all of it and I have to process all of it and kind of, make sense of everything based on the information given to me or the knowledge given to me and the knowledge that I do have in terms of my basic understanding of how viruses work. It's just, you could research it. And so that's the conclusions that I've come to when it comes to COVID-19. And so it doesn't make there's a lot of things here that don't make sense to me. A lot. And I may be alone, but I don't think I am, because I see online that there's people who are asking the same questions that I'm asking, because they're seeing the same thing that I'm seeing. They're noticing the same things that I'm noticing. So it's weird. It's weird, But I don't want to make the show into a political show or into, a COVID-19 show, because that's not what the show's about. So what else do I have in store for 2021? Well, I have other stories that I want to produce. I really do. I have, I mentioned high concept stories. And I have a whole bunch of high concept stories that I want to produce, to hope to one day produce. But everything depends on this first campaign. If I fulfill this campaign, then everything will be gravy. Really, I'm being 100% real, guys. Everything will be fantastic if I'm able to fulfill this campaign, because this will only boost my, I guess you could say, my name up in the eyes of the reader. So hopefully that works out. Hopefully it does. So another thing I want to talk about for 2021 is the comic book culture. I want to mend fences in 2021. I want to not close the door to people who are considered lepers in the comic book community. I want to open my door up to anybody and everybody who wants to be part of this game here, this show. Julius Freeman, Talking Comics with Julius Freeman. So I'm hoping that come 2021, we learn to be more tolerant of each other. Hopefully we can come to terms that, hey, you got your group over there, that's cool. You got your group over there, and that's cool. But we can cross-pollinate from time to time if the occasion calls for it, and it's okay. That's my idealistic nature. But I know the reality is that a lot of the times you have people who just don't get along. And that's understandable. Of course, that's understandable. You can't force two people who don't like each other to get along. Sometimes it just doesn't work. There has been a few instances that happened in 2020 where that is something that everyone thought was never going to happened. Like, for instance, when Nasser Rabadi, if I totally butchered last name, buddy, I'm sorry, had Mike Miller and Ethan Van Sciver on his show at the same time. And it was very cordial. And of course, Ethan Van Sciver reached out to Mike Miller and invited him back on the show. And Mike Miller, stuck to his guns and said, no, I'll pray on it. And he probably prayed on it and realized, no, I'm not going to do it. So he probably is not ever going to go on Ethan Van Sciver's show. And that's okay. but at least it was cordial. That's what made it, that for me anyway, that's what made the moment beautiful, is that they were cordial. They spoke like adults. They say, okay, let's just bygones be bygones. What happened. We just don't mix, and that's okay. That's fine. And so what I want to do personally as a comic book creator is simply, tolerate other people, understand where they're coming from, and realize that everyone has their own way. And that's okay. If something comes out that you don't like, ignore it. There's no need to bash it. But if you bash it, hey, like I said, that's you. That's all on you. That's not me. That's not my style. My style is not to bash things that I don't like. My style is to just simply go, that's not my thing. It's not my cup of tea. I want to go over here now. And you guys can have fun with your whatever it is that you're enjoying. That's why I can never get into the fandoms. I can never get into the talking smack of things that are terrible, because a lot of the times I end up liking a lot of things that people hate. Like, for instance, The Last Jedi by Rian Johnson. Everyone hates that film, but I seem to be the only one who actually enjoyed that film. That's one of my favorite films, because I'm a fan of Rian Johnson. Surprise, surprise, right? I was in the stream last night with the 656 guys, what's up, dudes? And I defended Rian Johnson. I was like, I'm a fan of Rian Johnson. I love his film Knives Out. I love Brick. I love Looper. He's, to me anyway, he's a very talented director. Now, of course, is he great? Maybe not. That's up for debate. But personally speaking, I've enjoyed all his films, and I've never seen a bad Rian Johnson film. Now, of course, people may think my taste is bad because of it, but I don't care. I don't care what other people think of me. I like what I like, and I'm going to defend what I like. But am I going to defend it to the point where I'm going to get mad at you and I'm going to, lash out at you? No, because it's just a fucking movie. It's just something I like. I don't personally know Rian Johnson. I probably will never know Rian Johnson personally. But just because somebody across from me says that Rian Johnson is a piece of shit, that's not going to get me upset, because what's there to be upset about? You're entitled to your opinion. That's fine. But I'm still going to enjoy the fuck out of Looper. I'm still going to enjoy The Last Jedi. I still enjoy The Last Jedi. The other movies, not my thing. But I just thoroughly enjoyed The Last Jedi. But I know there's a lot of people who will disagree with that, and that's okay. That's fine. Everyone's entitled to their opinions, is what I say. And if you don't like Last Jedi, hey, then don't like it. But that's what I want to do for 2021. I want to kind of mend fences. I want to, teach people to be tolerant of others' points of views and not take things personally when they attack something you like. It's always flabbergasting to me when people get so upset when you attack something they like. It's fun to watch in a lot of ways, to watch people reel and lose themselves when someone says, "Oh, The Last Jedi sucked," or "The Force Awakens sucks," or I freaking hate that frog comic, Cyber Frog, or and then people just like, "How dare you speak about my favorite book that way?" And it's like, dude, it's just a fucking book. It's just a video game, or it's just a movie. Like, so what? Let them have their say. You enjoyed it, enjoy it. If someone else didn't enjoy it, then let them not enjoy it. And if someone chooses to talk smack or make videos talking smack, let them. It's a free country. Let them speak their mind. So what? Ignore it or hit the thumbs down. That's what I do when I don't like a video. I hit the thumbs down and move on with my life. Got more things to worry about than getting angry about someone saying that they hate Rian Johnson or that they hate Christopher Nolan, because those are two of my favorite directors. But it is what it is, man. We live in a world where people are empowered because of social media. It's fine. I get it. So that's what I want to do for 2021 is kind of do that, mend that, kind of bring people together as much as possible. I know that's almost impossible nowadays, but hey, a man can dream, right? So, oh yeah, I forgot to mention the song I played was a song by Johnny Thunders called "Born to Lose." I'm a huge Johnny Thunders fan, and I forgot to mention at the top of the show that I chose the song because it's one of my favorite songs. So I wanted to just share that with you guys because I'm a huge Johnny Thunders fan. Growing up, I was introduced to the New York Dolls by a friend of mine, and I was totally mesmerized by the New York Dolls. And then I got so into them that I found out about Johnny Thunders and all that stuff. So I was very happy to have found Johnny Thunders because he's become one of my favorite guitar heroes of all time. And hey, Ferris, how you going, buddy? How you doing? Happy New Year, bro. Happy New Year. Your work is great. Thanks, buddy. Thanks. I appreciate that. Happy New Year to you too, bro. I'm glad you could be on the show. I hope you had a good New Year, and I hope that 2021 is kind to you. And I hope you push yourself, man. I know the last stream that I had, you talked about how you wanted to get out there, and so I hope you're doing it, man. I hope you will push yourself to make it in the world. Because there's lots of opportunities out there nowadays. I know the world may seem like it's shrinking because of social media, and there's so much competition for everyone's attention. It may feel overwhelming, it may feel overbearing, but if your stuff is good, man, the cream always rises to the top. Always. That's a given. Everything that's great always rises to the top, and when you get to the top, you're golden. You're golden. So I hope Ferris, I hope you're pushing yourself for 2021 because I actually want to see some of your work. I actually want to look at some of your work, and I want to see what you have in store for everyone with what you have in mind in there. So, yeah, going back to what I was saying, that I want to be able to mend fences in the comic book community because I think that splintering into various groups and sects will only damage the community. Maybe that'll be good for competition. Competition wise, it'll be good. But we're all in this together. We all are part of the comic book game. We all love comics. At least for me, I don't know about everyone else, but for me, the medium of comics is what gets me excited about the actually holding a comic book. Is being able to sit down and appreciate not just the art, but everything in the book, the story, the characters, the action, the sequentials. It's what, for me, that's what hooked me to comic books, is being able to appreciate all that and how difficult it is to tell a story in a comic book form. It's not that easy. It really isn't. I will definitely be reaching out to you as soon as I'm ready to get my work out there. Social media platforms will start as soon as I build. Great, man. Great. I look forward to it. My Twitter handle is right there at the bottom of the screen. So yeah, just give me a follow when you start to get serious about what you want to do, because I would love to check out what you have in store, and also I'll be more than happy to spread the love and let people know of your work, and so that way people can either hire you for their work, or people will just start following you, so you can start selling yourself as an individual, as an artist. And I'm pretty sure you're working hard at it too, which you should be, because it is hard work. Making comic books is hard work, and but the more you do it, the easier it will get, and the easier that it gets, the more confidence you will have for yourself. And it's always a fine line to walk when your confidence levels go up, because a lot of the time the dangerous part of that is that the thing the whole arrogance gets a hold of your head, and it kind of messes with your progress. So you always have to keep humility in mind. Be humble as much as possible, because humility is the best way to run the marathon, if that makes sense. Because with humility, it keeps you going until old age. And I think that's the reason why directors like Martin Scorsese, for instance. Martin Scorsese is one of my favorite film directors. He's like 80 something years old, almost 90, and he still directs like he's 25. This energy that he has, and I think it's because he's humbled himself as an artist. I don't know how he's like as a person. I can only speak on his artistry, and I think that's probably what's helped him stay on course in producing great quality works, one after the other, at the age that he's in. I'm constantly trying to pick up things from different artists, trying to break down their thought process. McFarlane's dot dash method is so hard to break down for the most part. Yeah, that's true. I'll definitely follow you and promote your work and platforms. Awesome, dude. Awesome. But yeah, going back to that, yeah, you're absolutely right. Try not to break down too much, if that makes sense. Try to find your own style. So yeah, see their techniques, study their techniques, and break down how they, why they chose a certain pose, why they chose to draw it a certain way, why they, you could explore that, but don't get lost in that. The best way to get better with time is you have to put your own pencil onto paper and start drawing and figuring out your style. That's the key. Of course, study the masters. Of course, that's a given. Study the masters, but at some point you're going to have to develop your own style. And I think that's probably the best thing you can do right now that you're starting out with drawing comic books. McFarlane's work always feels like it can't be duplicated. It feels like he's just feeling it through from start to finish on top. Yeah, absolutely. But see, he understands basic structure, fundamentals, like you just said right there. He understands it because when you look at McFarlane's stuff when he first started, up until Spawn, you see the growth. I'm sure Tom McFarlane looked up to, I'm going to say John Byrne, maybe. I really don't know much about Tom McFarlane, but I'm pretty sure he studied Jack Kirby, and maybe he was a fan of, because when I looked at his early stuff, he kind of reminds me of John Byrne style. And then as he went along, that's when he started developing his style. And even like, for instance, David Fincher, right? David Fincher is a freaking monster, artist. But when you look at David Fincher's first work, it's very McFarlane-esque. And it's obvious why, because he probably looked up to Tom McFarlane and loved Tom McFarlane's style. But then as time went on, now he has his own style. That's his. It's not Tom McFarlane's anymore. So Ferris, if just remember, just keep that in mind when you're doing these things, Yeah, study the masters, but as time goes on, and the more you draw, the best thing you could do is just keep drawing, draw every day as much as you can. And I guarantee you, the more hours you put into developing your art style, the better you'll get. That's just the way it goes for everything, right? The more you do something, the better you get. Michael Golden. Okay, so if Michael Golden was his main inspiration, I'm pretty sure he studied Michael Golden's work, and I don't want to say copied it, but he probably more than likely took a lot of elements from his style and implemented it into his own, or borrowed it, as the term is known or is used as. And then as time went on, then he became Tom McFarlane. So it's a beautiful thing, really, how artists inspire each other through generations. For me as a writer, Alan Moore was the writer that I wanted to emulate for a lot of years. I wanted to copy him. I wanted to be like Alan Moore. I wanted to write like Alan Moore. I wanted to make comic books like Alan Moore. And of course, as I kept writing, as I kept working on my scripts, on my storytelling, as time went on, I realized I had to step away from that and find what my style was. But even like for instance, like the Good Old Dragon, you'll probably see a lot of Alan Moore-esque paneling in some pages, but for the most part, hopefully, um, it's all me. Hopefully, it's Julius Freeman. That's the goal and the hope anyway. So I'm hoping that that readers will notice that there is some Alan Moore, sprinkled on the Good Old Dragon, but there's a lot of Frank Miller in there too. There's a lot of Edwin Bokovich in there as well, because Edwin Belkovich. Oh, that's not. By the way, Ferris, that guy, Edwin Bokovich. I want to say you should study that guy. That guy, that artist. He captured what well, for me anyway. For me, he captured what comics um should be, if that makes sense. Let's see what you say here. The interesting thing is I feel most artists throw down certain lines because aesthetically they work in conjunction with the overall picture and neighboring lines. A lot of what works in art. Right, right. In general, is what feels right instinctually and logically. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's the instincts always come first. And then as you not progress, but as you edit or as you like work on things, then of course logically you change what you would consider to be the best choice. Hey, hi. That was fast. Yeah. So yeah, it's that's very cool that you have it sounds like you have it down already. It sounds like you have the right idea in terms of oh, sorry guys, my wife just got home from the supermarket. But it sounds like you do. But yeah, let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me see. This guy right here. Edvin Bilkovic. This guy just had paneling down to here, here's a magazine cover of his. Let me click on this so you could. He passed away. He passed away in 2004, very young. Right there, Edvin. If you can see it. If you can see it, Ferris. Edvin with the V. Bilkovic. Bokovic. Biukovic. This guy just had he had it in terms of sequential storytelling. Like, let me see if I can find a page so you can see what I'm talking about. He just had it, man. This guy just got it. Now here we go. Human Target. Check this out, dude. Check this out. So that's the first panel. A lot going on. This is the first panel of the first page of the book, by the way. No introduction, just straight up. This is literally the first panel of the first page of Human Target. And then so this is the beginning panel, right? People being shot. It's a obviously it's a casino, given the fact that there's the foreground here. So see, he gave you everything without words. So you knew that this assassin jumped into a casino to murder people or to assassinate someone. And then right here, you see in the second panel, you see the clothes, you see this tracking shot. It's a 3-panel tracking shot. So here you see this little gadget here in the window, and then you see the clothes laying out, and it's a woman. And then here's the last panel. But yeah, he just had it, man. Like, he's freaking like a grandmaster storyteller, and I think he's very underrated, not appreciated as much as he should be these days. given the fact that this guy, I think if you're an artist, you should study Edwin Bokovich in the same way that you would study like Jack Kirby or Jim Lee, because this guy just had. Let's see if I can find another one so you can see what I'm talking about. He did a few Star Wars books too, when Dark Horse had Star Wars. Let me see if I can find another one cool page here. You can see. Here we go. Here's another one. This is a Star Wars one. Oh, I can't zoom in on this one. Dang. Okay, I can't zoom in on this one. But you get the idea, though. You get the idea. I'm a huge fan of Alan Davis, art storytelling wise. He's very Alan Davis was another freaking fantastic, artist, and he certainly Batman works unmatched in my opinion. I will definitely be researching one. Yeah, check out Edwin. But yeah, you're right. Alan Davis was another artist that I felt no one could touch for a lot of years, and I think to this day he's still a very skilled artist. I'm just gonna see if I can find you another page that you can see, because he's, like I said, this guy just was on a different level. I don't have it here. All right, well, I'm gonna cut it out. I'm gonna cut it short, and thank you guys for showing up and hearing me talk about 2021. Come here. Say bye. Say bye. Oh, say bye. Okay. Yeah, you should. You should, man. So thanks, Ferris, for showing up, and I'll probably more likely do another stream tomorrow to close out the campaign, and yeah, join me tomorrow. Join me tomorrow, and we'll talk some more. And Happy New Year to you too, and thank you for that. All right, bud. See you later. And likewise, be safe.